Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And we just did a blind head-to-head between these two bottles. The first 2 ounces of this bottle of Rare Breed, the last 2 ounces of this bottle of Rare Breed.
Does air actually change the flavor of whiskey, or is it all in your head?
Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
We're not professional whiskey tasters, but what we will do is we'll randomly select one of these pairs to taste totally double blind to remove any possible bias and give you our honest opinions.
We won't know what's in either glass while we're drinking it, but you will, and you'll find all that information in the video description below along with timestamps.
Yep, and you'll see us taste through these and tell you what matters the most to us in whiskey, which is the taste. We'll talk about the price and availability, and we'll talk about whether we would buy them again or not. In the end, we'll give them what we call our real-world score, and that's all informed entirely by our blind tasting. All right, let's see which pair we're drinking today. We're going to run a randomizer. Got to open the phone first, and it is the 18th pair. So there's 18 pairs here, and it's going to be this last pair right here.
All right.
All right, let's get into the nose on glass one.
It smells sweet.
Yeah, sweet, but I'm getting a faint nose. Are you getting much?
I mean, it smells like alcohol and sweet.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting. General alcohol and general sweetness.
Yeah.
Let's get into the taste. That's got a significant amount more proof on the palate than it did on the nose. Wow. That's making my mouth water. It hit me with a lot more proof than I was expecting. It is very fruity sweet is what I'm getting. And I'm getting the proof is just coming through, not in a spicy way, but just in a proofy way.
Yeah, it kind of burns as it goes down for me.
Yeah, just fruity sweet and proofy burn. Let's go into glass two.
Ooh, this smells like rubbing alcohol.
Really? To me, it smells deeper and richer on the nose.
Maybe.
Yeah, let's get into the palate.
Ooh, this is easier to sip. It still has flavor, but it doesn't hit me hard in the face.
Less proof punch. The flavors are definitely deeper and darker. That kind of came through on the nose. That's coming through on the palate.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Deeper, darker flavors, but lighter punch.
Yeah, I'm getting more proof on the second sip in that one, but it's coming on more slow and swelling. But it doesn't ever engulf the palate. This is a very interesting matchup. I mean, it's almost like fruity proofy versus sweet dark and kind of heavy.
Maybe.
So it'll be really interesting to see what we think of these after spending some time with them.
Yeah.
We're going to do that right now, and we'll be back with a full tasting discussion. After spending some time with both these pours, what you thinking? How you feeling? Let's start with glass one.
All right, so glass one, on the nose, I gave it a thumbs up. It was a good smell. I liked it.
Good smell.
It had good
Ringing endorsement.
It had good smell. On the flavor, I gave it just okay. Just okay. There's really nothing else other than it was just okay. And then on the experience, overall, I gave it a thumbs up because it did have less punch as I drank it. So I don't if you've watched any of our other blinds, I don't like being punched in the mouth when I drink something. And as I drank glass one, it was less punchy. So overall, it gives a thumbs up for experience.
So for glass one for me, thumbs up on the nose.
Smells good.
My notes say that I kind of have a fruity candy sweetness up front that I kind of couldn't get past, but then once I dug under that, I got kind of a salted peanut, and I could not get past that note on the nose.
Interesting.
Just straight up salted peanut on the nose. And then for flavor, I gave it a thumbs up. That fruity sweetness did carry over off of the nose and onto the palate, but that peanutty smell that hit me on the nose, it kind of went a little sour. I didn't love that.
Interesting.
And then on the experience, thumbs up. So for me, it's a thumbs up across the board.
Yeah.
On the experience, it had that proofy kick, but it had a bitterness on the finish that I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Yeah.
All right, Erin, where are you at on glass two?
All right. So for glass two, I gave it just okay on the nose. It was kind of astringent, and it stayed kind of astringent for me. But I thought it tasted good, so I gave it a thumbs up on flavor. So good flavor. And then the overall experience was good, so it got a thumbs up there as well.
Yeah. Glass two for me, it definitely was more astringent on the nose. You're not kidding about that. I did give it a thumbs up on the nose.
Okay.
Because I got kind of a darker berry sweetness on the nose and then a musty wood note that I think could be a little off-putting, but I actually really dug it.
I can get that, the musty wood.
Yeah. It is quite enjoyable when you can pin that to that note.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it could be off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
Then on flavors, thumbs up for me. I got nuttiness and then a lot of oak.
Mm-hmm.
It's Glass 2 is substantially more oak than Glass 1 on the flavors. And then on experience, I gave it a thumbs up.
Awesome.
Because to me, it was more drying and astringent on the palate, but it was less bitter than Glass 1. And I preferred that in Glass 2.
Yeah.
The oak that was there was just more neutral on the flavors and the finish, and I just prefer that more. So these kind of shook out to be pretty similar for the both of us.
Yeah.
Which one was your preference?
I think if I had to pick Glass 2,
yeah,
kind of for the same reason you said, like it's less, there's less like bitter oak. Both of them are kind of oaky, but they were still pretty close. Like,
I'm kind of getting a syrupy sweetness in this now.
Of course you are.
Like a maple syrup.
So yeah, I would say probably Glass 2, but it wasn't like a cut and dry. I thought it was going to be Glass 2 all the way after first impressions. Then as I sipped them both, they both kind of like equalized. So, but we'll go with Glass 2.
Yeah.
What about you?
To me, they're not far apart. Glass 2 is my preference for sure, but it's not a big gap. It's a slight difference. But that little bitter sour note that I'm getting on Glass 1 just doesn't jive with me quite as well as what I'm getting on Glass 2. Even though Glass 2, I think, is a little bit more drying and astringent. So, just a personal preference thing, really. Yeah. All right, let's find out what these are. We're going to find out price first, react to that. Then we'll find out what we're drinking and react to that. Right. So, let's get our sample jars. Glass 1 is number 37, and Glass 2 is number 36.
37.
Price on Glass 37 is
$50.
Okay. Price on Glass 2?
$50.
Okay, $50. I feel like that's a fair price for what you're getting in these two glasses.
I agree. Let's find out what they are.
Let's find out what they are. Okay. Hit the button. Find out.
36 and 37?
36 and 37. Glass 1, 37. Glass 2, 36. We both prefer Glass 36, so what's Glass 1?
Glass 1 is rare breed, a fresh crack. And Glass 2 is rare breed with lots of air. So they're both rare breed. One of our favorite bourbons. Wow, interesting. So wait. 30. Hold on. 37 is Glass 1. Yeah, rare breed with fresh crack. 36 is Glass 2, which is rare breed, lots of air. So the one with lots of air smelled more astringent.
Oh my goodness.
Does that make sense? Is that supposed to do that?
I'm going to need a minute to recover from this. Oh my goodness. This is wild. Okay. So we have a couple of matchups in our blind sample pool to keep us 100% totally honest. Like we got some budget basement type stuff in here. We've got some pours with air versus pours without. We got pours with water versus pours without. Wow. Okay. So there's a thing that people talk about of does air change whiskey? So we had one bottle of rare breed that was down to the last 2 ounces. And we had another bottle of rare breed that we had bought that we hadn't opened yet. And I was like, oh, this serendipitously lines up. So let's put the last 2 ounces of this rare breed in one sample jar in glass 2 in 36. And then I'll crack this new rare breed and put it in glass 37. So, I mean, I think we can definitively say that air does change whiskey.
Yeah. It's funny though, because I feel like, now correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't air make something less astringent on the smell? Because I feel like both of us said glass 2 was more astringent on the smell.
Yeah, glass 2, I think I'm so, you guys are gonna have to forgive me. I am way stunned right now. My brain is literally melting inside my cranium right now. Like I'm so confused with the nuttiness I was getting. I know some people do say that they get a nuttiness,
I didn't get nuttiness
on Wild Turkey products sometimes. Other people say it's a funk, that musty wood note, you know?
You know what makes sense though? Glass 1 for me, it opened up as I smelled it, as it was exposed to more air, as I was sipping it, it did open up, which is why I ended up giving it like a better score overall in the end.
Wow. So air definitely changes whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally just definitively proved it.
Yeah.
You can't
scientifically.
I actually had doubts. Like, I didn't think it was not true. Like, I did expect that air could change whiskey. If you leave whiskey out open, it's going to change over time.
Yeah.
But it's so weird. Like, it changed a lot, but then also not much. The more we sip these, the closer the gap got.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but they did not strike me as the same product.
Correct. Same.
If you told me these, well, I mean, you just did tell me this.
I did. They are the same product.
You saw how I reacted. Like,
mind meld.
You've seen, as we have talked about the tasting of these glasses, of these same freaking glasses, you've seen that we've had nose flavor experience. You've also seen retail and consumer on the screen. And we'll get to the real world later. But the retail and the consumer are exactly what they mean for us. It's talking about the price and the availability. Yep. That's the retail side of the equation. Mm-hmm. And the consumer side of the equation is whether we buy this product again or not.
As the consumer, would we buy it again?
Right. So, I mean, they are what they sound like. So, let's talk about it.
Okay.
It's the same product.
I know. But they taste different.
They do.
But similar.
But similar.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Both of the, I mean, it's rare breed. For $50, are you buying it again or not? And do you feel happy with the price and availability? The availability is pretty good in our market. I mean, it comes and goes. Right now, we're in the middle of some weird things in the world.
Yes.
And so apparently glass supply is affecting Wild Turkey and some of the other distilleries.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's the information that I've heard, that glass supply is affecting some of the bigger distilleries that produce a lot of volume, which Wild Turkey is one, Jim Beam, other distilleries.
Gotcha.
But nonetheless, if you're watching this video 3 years from now, it might not matter. But if you're watching it right now, pretty soon after it comes out, supply, availability, it kind of comes and goes in waves. Once it shows up in our market here in Nashville, Tennessee, it's around for a week or two, and then it might dry up for a week or two, and then it might come back. So availability is pretty good to great, to maybe even 2 thumbs up on availability. Price is $50. How are you feeling after our blind tasting on these?
I mean, I'm gonna give Glass 1 thumbs up on retail. $50. It opened up. It was good.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
And then what about consumer?
I mean, I would buy it again. We do buy it again. So it gets a thumbs up.
Okay. I mean, it's so weird. I'm so used to talking about Glass 1 and Glass 2 separately, but these are the exact same thing. So it's really throwing me off. Bear with us, guys. We really got thrown for a loop. So that's part of the blind sample pool.
Pretend they're separate things.
But they're not.
But pretend that they are when you're talking about it.
I have to consider it in the scope of one bottle from the start to the finish.
That's true. That's a good point. It's valid. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. For me, I feel like the price and availability is good. I'd give it a thumbs up on price and availability on our retail. And then on the consumer score, I would give it a thumbs up. I would buy Rare Breed again. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. It's one of our favorite go-to whiskeys. Mm-hmm. It's so funny that off camera while we were tasting these, I was like, I never try to figure out what these are, but I have no clue what these are.
Yeah.
Because it was the difference between the two was throwing me so much. The thought crossed my mind that they might be from the same distillery, but the thought that they were the exact same thing never occurred to me. So for me, I would give them both thumbs up. Same. On retail and consumer scores.
However, what I think we did prove here, based on what we like, that as the bottle is open longer, it gets better to us in our preferences and tastes, because we both liked Glass 2 better, and that was the one that had more air.
Yeah.
So as the bottle is opened, we like it more, which I feel like is good. I feel like it's a good quality in a product.
Well, and this is the funny thing, is when I put this matchup in our blind sample pool, I thought to myself, people always talk about how air changes whiskey, and with some finished whiskeys or wines and things like that, I can absolutely see how that would be the case. But when it came to just a straight up Kentucky bourbon like Rare Breed, I thought, I don't know if it's really the air, or maybe like it's that person's palate on a different day. Maybe they ate something different. No, we ate what we ate today. This is the same product. One just had a lot of air in it. One didn't. Yeah. Or vice versa. Yeah. One didn't have a lot of air. One did. Yeah. Wow. My brain is still literally melting inside my head.
I can tell your brain is like
we are out of
meltdown
sorts.
mode.
All right. let's cover our real world scores. Now that we know what these are, let's give them. Are we giving one real world?
No, they're 2 different pours.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. We score on a 10-point scale, but it's not your traditional 10-point scale. Think of our scoring more like a bell curve. So we give these real world scores, and anything that falls in that midpoint range of 4 to 6 points is pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything much more than that is pretty exceptional to us. Anything less than that is probably
unexceptional.
Less exceptional.
Yeah.
Yeah, unexceptional. And we found this through tons of blind tastings that we've done on this channel and prior to starting this channel, that most products do tend to fall in that midpoint range. So if we say something is in that middle range, it's not a knock on it. It just means it's good, but it is probably pretty interchangeable with any other product
with other
out there.
good things, yeah.
Yeah.
We get our real world score by adding the thumbs you see on the screen. Thumbs down, we don't like it.
No points for that.
Just okay, we could take it or leave it.
Half a point for that.
Thumbs up, we like it.
1 point for that.
2 thumbs up, we really like it.
2 points for that. So, as you can see on the chart on the screen, Erin, what's your real world score for glass 1?
My real world score for glass 1 is 4.5.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
For rare breed.
Yes.
My real world score for glass 1 is 5.
What?
Right there firmly in the middle.
Yeah. 4.5 is kind of in the middle too.
It is. 4 to 6 is kind of that midpoint range.
Yeah.
It's pretty interchangeable. Good solid product, but it's, it's not blowing our socks off. It's
No.
not blowing our hair back.
Even though it is one of our favorites,
It is.
it's still interchangeable with others.
Yeah. All right, let's get into glass 2.
Okay.
What were your real world scores for glass 2?
So glass 2 for me also got a 4.5. The exact same thing.
Yeah. Funny how the same product got the exact same score for you.
But for different reasons.
Yeah. And glass 2 for me got a 5.
For different reasons?
For different reasons,
Yeah.
but it's still the same product. They scored the exact same for me. They scored the exact same for you. But we have a preference for the second glass, the one with air in it,
Mm-hmm.
but we scored them the same. So I feel like this is justification for our scoring rubric, if anything. Like, it held strong. I mean, I did say these were a very close choice.
Yeah.
And I picked this one based on some nuance. It's the same freaking product. I'm not going to get over that.
No.
He's
going to be talking about this all
It's going to be
day.
the rest of the night. Like, once the camera turns off, this is not over.
No.
All right, let's get into what we've learned and who these are for. I mean, I think we have definitively learned that air does affect whiskey.
I think so. I would say that.
As far as who these are for, I mean,
Everyone.
these are both good glasses.
Yeah.
We both scored them right there firmly in the middle. There was never any point in my scoring where I waffled and thought I was going to give something less than what I gave it.
Yeah.
There were points where I waffled and said, do I need to bump this up a little bit?
Mm.
But I never waffled and decided to go lower. So maybe on a different day, these would have hit my palates differently. And instead of both of them scoring 5s, maybe they both would have scored 7s. Maybe they would have got a thumbs up in one or
Who
more
knows?
categories. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this was a fascinating matchup for sure.
Cool.
We're going to have to do this air versus no air thing again, a fresh crack versus a well aired out bottle, and see what we think after some time with some different products. Maybe a lower proof point, maybe a barrel proof, like a higher barrel proof point.
Right.
This is going to be a very interesting recurring series. Although due to the randomization, we won't know when it's recurring.
It will happen. Yeah.
If you like head-to-head matchups like this and you want to get involved in that, you can check the video description below for our Patreon. Over there, we have a couple of tiers that hook you up with blind tasting kits. You get 8 sample jars, you get our scoring rubrics, you get the whole 9 yards. We even talk with you, walk with you through the whole thing to tailor the experience to your palate. It's a ton of fun. We love doing those. And check the video description below as well for our upcoming live streams. We live stream once a month. We have some kind of theme that goes along with it. We got a lot of fun stuff on the horizon. We've even got some do good, change the world type stuff on the horizon, some real pie in the sky stuff that means a whole lot to us. So be sure to check the video description below for that.
And always, we want to thank you for watching today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, just one. That's all we need. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. What are you missing? Like,
what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
What's wrong with you? Till next week, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.